This is the Five Nights at Freddy's Rotten Tomatoes score. And I'm sure you're wondering, why is the gap between them so big?
Oh my god, it's huge.
Well, to answer that, I watched the film and I dove into these two very different scores to find out three main reasons why I think the gap is so drastic. Plus, I'm going to tell you who is right, the critics or the audience. In order to answer that, we first need to wind the clocks back to 2014. 2014 was quite the time to be alive. Ebola was scaring the pants off of moms everywhere, Malaysian Airlines had a plane go completely missing, and Robin Williams tragically died. Through all the noise that 2014 had, one tiny little indie game was looking for its big break. A simple horror game designed to give audiences a right good fright.
Psycho Duck, Psycho Duck.
Which begs the question, how do you make a movie out of this? That was my number one question going in, but it led me to an even more important question as I was sitting in the theater. Do I need to know the lore of the game or even play the game to understand this movie? I'm sure it's recommended to understand these things in order to understand this film, but I'm simply not gonna sit down and play Five Nights at Freddy's, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Five Nights at Freddy's 3, Five Nights at Freddy's 4, Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted, Five Nights at Freddy's AR Special Delivery, and Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. That sounds like a gigantic waste of my time to simply understand a 2-hour movie. Okay. Having to do that much homework to understand a movie makes me want to blow my head off. That's one of the major reasons why we're seeing such wide gaps between audiences and critics. If you don't know the lore or haven't played the game, you'll be just as lost as something that's lost. If you can't pick up on my not-so-subtle hints, I hated this movie, but I can understand why so many love it. This is a property that has 9 games, remains an absolute cash cow to this day, and has amassed billions of views on YouTube. The internet is an incredible thing. You can log in and find countless people who are just like you. They have the same interests, same problems, and even the same passion for Five Nights at Freddy's lore. Even if there's only 100,000 people of the 8 billion people in this world, with the internet's help, they can easily find each other, and this creates something called an echo chamber. Here's a demonstration of what that is.
I simply love when Five Nights at Freddy's, Five Nights at Freddy's.
OMG, bro, I love that part at Five Nights at Freddy's when Five Nights at Freddy's.
Bro, I loved when Five Nights at Freddy's, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. An echo chamber is pretty simple. It's usually a group of people that share the same beliefs or thought processes all echoing each other, which makes it seem like they are correct. So even if somebody comes along and says they're wrong, they and the hundreds or thousands of other people simply can't be wrong, right? That's essentially what this is.
You're wrong!
Which brings me to my final point. The real reason why the gap between critics and audiences is so large. Imagine you go out to a lake one day with your friends. Some people in the group have seen pictures of the lake but have only been to a few other lakes. So when they get there, they're looking for the things they've seen in the picture. Maybe the watercolor's a bit brownish, there's a rundown dock, and patchy grass. When those people get to the lake and see these things, they're like, yeah, that's fine, because this is what I expected it to be. But then there's the other people in the group who haven't seen the photos of this particular lake, but have been to a ton of other lakes. There's something of a lake freak, we'll say. They've seen the ones that look crystal clear, have perfect docks, and great scenery. So when you get to this rundown hellhole, they're probably going to hate their time there because they're thinking of all the amazing places they've been, and this simply can't compare.
This is all wrong.
That, right there, is the biggest reason why we are seeing such a dramatic difference between audiences' scores and critics' scores. Most critics are going to see anywhere between 100 to 300 films in 1 year. I myself watch about 150 movies from a particular year in that year. But on the other hand, audiences know Five Nights at Freddy's much better than critics do, and they love that look and that feel of Five Nights at Freddy's. So they're fine if they go to this lake and it has some rundown things, some patchy surfaces, and some brownish water, because that's what they've come to expect.
Yes! Hell yeah! Hey, come on, baby! Come on!
So what does this even mean? To put it bluntly, if you like the game or the lore, there is a 100% chance that you like this movie. And if you don't know either of those things, there is a 100% chance you will not like this movie.
What the f*** is this piece of shit?
No one is right or wrong. You can like it or you can't. That's fine either way. But I tend to trust the people that know and have experienced the best lakes in the world over something like this.